let's break down Saturday's game, go a level deeper with our Overreaction Tuesday. Sometimes it's Overreaction Sunday, sometimes Monday, but with the holiday, we push it back to Overreaction Tuesday. I want to make sure Jack was in the seat with me as we went over Michigan's 30-10 win over Fresno State. We're going to publish the video about 5:30 p.m. Eastern on Tuesday. So if you're watching between 5:30, maybe 5:15, we'll see if we can get filmed in time. 5:15, 5:30, and 6:30. That first hour is so key for likes, as I told you guys a couple videos ago. Every like puts us in the feed of 5 more Michigan football fans. So if we get 100 likes in the first hour, boom, we're off to the races. If you want to help the show, which many of you always ask how you can, this is the biggest way. Like the video if you're one of the first viewers in this first hour. Some news to review if you haven't seen it yet. Derek Jeter, Michigan man, was a student for a few weeks way back, and I think it was like fall of 1993 or 94, maybe even 92, I can't remember exactly. He was a captain way back, I think, in 2015, and then again in 2016 or 18. The details might escape me a little bit, but he will serve as the honorary captain again for this program. First time, obviously, under Sherrone Moore. He'll be in the house against Texas. Derek Jeter, your Michigan football honorary captain against Texas on Saturday afternoon. How about this? Saturday night was the first game ever where alcohol was legally served and sold inside the Big House. 27 fans got ejected from the game, Jack. I read 9 were at least for disorderly conduct. They didn't really have the stats for the rest of them. I'm not sure if all of them are drinking related or other things, but I thought you might find that number interesting because I've never really actually looked and see if they've published how many people were ejected. That seems like a lot, right? 27 people getting ejected. I don't know, Jack. It seems like a lot, but I don't know what your thoughts are on that, but.
People are getting rowdy.
People are getting rowdy, that's for sure.
Look, it's one of the best days of the year. It's the beginning of the season. Michigan's back, reigning, defending, undisputed national champions. No asterisks.
A lot of celebrating, right?
A lot of celebrating. People getting rowdy. Football's back.
If you're one of those 27, let us know what happened down in the comments. But it is a big-time week, right? We got to bring the energy this week. Light up the comments. I'm going horns down. My son started saying it. I'm not sure who told him without me even saying anything like that. But comment horns down over and over and over. From now until the end of the game on Saturday, this is our temporary Bosa. Michigan and Texas only faced one at a time, so beat Texas football again. Didn't really have a ring to it. Just comment horns down over and over. First overreaction coming out of Saturday's game. And again, these are not my overreactions or even my thoughts. These are the things that I've seen most from social media and Big J media, the headlines, the topics that most Michigan football fans and enemies are talking about. Everybody's talking about Donovan Edwards. They were just taking shots at him, 27 yards, and making fun of him that he was the EA Sports cover boy, and yada, yada, yada. So first overreaction is the Don. What do we think about his performance, and is it emblematic of what we're going to get out of him for kind of the second straight year? Outside of a couple games last year, most notably the Washington game, Donovan Edwards is kind of on a downward trajectory as in his career as a Michigan football running back. It seems like you've got 1A and 1B, or hell, might even be just 1A and 1A with these two running backs here, with Donovan Edwards, who obviously got the start, was the starter, but then again, Kalel Mullings, who a lot of people said, look, Mullings looks better than Donovan Edwards. Seems to put his head down, find those easy yards, where Donovan Edwards seems to be very boom or bust. One thing that I'd like to see the staff do is use him a little bit better, right? This is a staff, or whether or not Sherrone Moore was making all these calls, but he's been on the offensive staff for Donovan Edwards' entire 4-year career. And you'll think back to 2021, he had a game with 10 catches, 170 yards. He had another game where he threw a 75-yard touchdown pass to Roman Wilson. Fast forward to 2022, 75 yards, 85 yards. The Don, you've got the play against Purdue. You've had the Penn State game, et cetera, et cetera. And really, last year I thought it was criminal how they used him. They never put him and Blake Corum in the field really at all that I can remember, at least not at any high frequency. They rarely went to the passing game to him downfield. And when they did, it kind of felt forced. So he got that first touchdown in the first drive. But from a running perspective, 11 carries, 27 yards. The thing I am seeing is Edwards seems to be trying to turn every single run into a 45-yard touchdown, into a 46-yard touchdown, into a 75-yard touchdown. And he needs to have some patience. He needs to be okay with 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and 7-yard gains, and doesn't always have to just kind of like look for that hole and slam into it and then try and bounce that side. It doesn't always have to be a home run. He's got to be able to pick up 3 to 5 to 6 to 7 yards at a high great. Or I think this guy here, Kalel Mullings, is going to overtake him as Michigan's feature back this year, right? Mullings can come back for a year next year for his 6th year. At least that's the way I read it, based on the COVID year and all that crazy different stuff. But I think this Michigan football coaching staff has got to use Donovan Edwards better. Put him and Mullings in the game a little bit, right? Don't let the defense know who's getting the ball. Hell, put Mullings, move him into motion and have Mullings block for him once or twice. Have play action of Mullings and then a screen pass or a deep pass to Donovan Edwards. But I just don't think you're going to get the production that you want out of him. Give him 11 carries, all of them pretty much up the gut, maybe 1 or 2 outside. So thinking forward to this Saturday's game, 4 days away, Michigan, Texas. Who will get more carries for this team against Texas? If you think it's the Donovan Edwards, give me a D in the comments. If you think it's Kalel Mullings, give me a K. I want to take the vibes from you guys. Give me a D or a K down in the comments. Another overreaction we saw was Michigan's offensive line. Oh, my God, these guys can't get any push. This team's going to be terrible with Michigan's offensive line. To me, guys, it looked like a team that was breaking in 5 new starters. But I've got some things to tell you before we finish on the offensive line, and here's what I have to say. I've been getting hit up from people for weeks, if not months. Where are you getting tickets at to the Michigan-Texas game? You go into the game, you got extra tickets, etc. So I know from you guys, are you looking for tickets to the game this Saturday? If you are, you got to get started with the sponsor of the Michigan Football Report today, and that is Game Time, the app I use to get extra tickets for Michigan and Texas for my family and friends. Game Time is absolutely awesome, and it's got a new feature called Game Time Picks, which makes getting tickets to your favorite teams even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only the incredible deals on great seats. You don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the guesswork out of buying tickets to events. With the Michigan football season here, Game Time is the perfect app for Wolverines fans because of these reasons here. You get last-minute tickets and flash deals. You're always paying the best price with Game Time. Also, right from the app, views from your seat. Jack, I told you I bought tickets from somebody else one time, and I thought it was a great big-time sporting event. Thought I had a great killer seat deal. Get to the seat, boom, there's a pillar right in front of my face, taking off half my view, not with Game Time. Also, I like all-in pricing. You hit that toggle, you find out the price you're actually going to pay, and don't get surprised with any fees or anything like that at the end. You can take the guesswork out of buying tickets by using Game Time. Go download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS, that's CHATSPORTS, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem the code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. This offensive line took 62 snaps together on Saturday night against Fresno. You have the same 4 guys on every single one. So Evan Link, Giovanni El-Hadi, Miles Hinton, Josh Pree were in for all of them. But Dominique Goudis, he got subbed out in the second quarter, most notably after he really got pushed back on a running play. I think it was Donovan Edwards. We'll have to go back and check the tape. And they brought in Greg Crippen, right? Crippen was in for 13 plays, but I'm not sure if they were just kind of like, hey, let's let Dominique get back into the groove of things, because I thought he was going to be gone for the rest of the game. Come back third quarter, and Goudis is back in. Crippen's out. So 49 snaps for Goudis, 23 pass, and 26 run, where Crippen was in for 8 runs and 5 pass protection plays for Michigan. Andrew Gentry came in for 3 snaps. He was there as the 6th offensive lineman, which became a staple of the Jim Harbaugh offensive line usage over the years for Michigan. Goudis, 59.9 run passing grade from Pro Football Focus, 82.5 pass blocking. So he was Michigan's worst run blocker, best pass blocker, at least whoever graded it for Pro Football Focus, if they know what they're talking about. But he returned to the starting lineup, and I expect him to be the starter for Michigan once again. This looked like a team that was rotating in 5 guys who had never played together, and for the most part, had never really played much high-level college football at all, at least for Michigan, outside of Josh Pree, of course, and Miles Hinton at Stanford and a few games last year. How about this one? This seems to be What everyone, all the haters out there in college football, all the jealous fan bases, all the Ohio State fans, et cetera, et cetera. Oh, Texas is going to crush Michigan. Texas is going to murder Michigan. Oh, we talking about the same Texas, Jack. This isn't Alabama. This isn't LSU with Joe Burrow. This isn't I don't know, Georgia or anything like that. Clemson 5 years ago. Well, I mean, this is still Texas, right?
Are we talking about the same Texas team that lost to Washington in the college football playoff, who then Michigan destroyed, and also missing, A.D. Mitchell and some of their high-power wide receivers? I mean,
Exactly. It's like, I mean, we talk about Texas. This is the Texas with Vince Young from 20 years ago. This is still a team that loses games that they shouldn't lose all the time. Most notably, last year, the Oklahoma game, right? A couple weeks, 3 weeks after beating Alabama riding high, they had Oklahoma come back and beat them a couple years ago. They had the game won pretty much in their home stadium at DKR in Austin. Lost to Austin. And go back before that, right? We forget that in 2021, this is a 500 team under this same coaching staff. I think Michigan's going to win this game against Texas. I tweeted this out back in June, right? And I don't think my takes have changed really at all from what I tweeted back 3 months ago to the day. Michigan is going to beat Texas on September 7th by multiple scores. The casuals, right, the person saying Michigan's going to get crushed, Texas is going to crush Michigan. They are going to be shocked to find out that Michigan will use the same game plan that they used to beat Washington. Continuing on, these three things. You dismantle the Longhorns' interior offensive line. People say Texas got one of the best, if not the best offensive line, most experienced offensive line in the country. Who did they say about that about last year, Jack? It was Washington. The Joe Moore winning offensive line for Washington. Michigan made them look like, Illinois' offensive line as far as I was concerned, right? And then where is Texas vulnerable? They are vulnerable. They had the Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant last year, right? Those two players went to the NFL, the best two run-stuffing, rushing interior defensive linemen. Now Michigan does, but I think Michigan can take advantage with their offensive line if they get a push, right? They got to have one big step forward as a group, but that interior defensive line from Texas is nowhere where it was last year, and Michigan should be able to get yards running up the middle. And then you got to do the same. I felt like last year, Jack, whenever Washington passed the ball, I always felt like Michigan had like 11 defensive backs in the game, let alone the 4 or 5 guys rushing the quarterback. It's like, how do they have 6 guys kind of surrounding that one player? I don't even know how that's possible. I think that's what's going to happen there. You're going to get that pass rush, Mason Graham, Kenneth Grant, Derek Moore, Josiah Stewart from the outside, maybe a 5th guy here or there, but then you're going to blanket these receivers from Texas with zone and going to make Quinn Ewers' life miserable. That's kind of what I think is going to happen. It's kind of what I need this to happen for Michigan to beat Texas. And frankly, Quinn Ewers, this is the Quinn Ewers I know, right? The scraggly, long-haired, blonde kid who left high school a year early, stole money, not the legal sense, but really took away money from the Ohio State's name, image, and likeness package by by going there for a year in 2021, and then didn't even wait around for the Rose Bowl, right? The second the semester was over, he hightailed out there, took that NIL money, and went down to Austin, the team he originally had committed to when he was like a sophomore or junior in high school. So he knows, Quinn Ewers, he knows what it's like to go in the big house and lose, because he was Ohio State's 3rd, maybe 4th string quarterback back in the 2021 season. I still think there's some of that Ohio State stench on Quinn Ewers that's going to lead to a loss for this Texas football team. So overreaction number 3, Texas is going to crush Michigan. Everyone says that. They are favored now, right? It was about 5.5 points line last week. It is now going up to 7.5. A lot more money is coming in on Texas than Michigan. Over-under still very low for a game of this high-quality teams, 2 top 10 teams. Michigan's fallen from 9 to 10 in the AP poll, so 3 versus 10. I want you guys to predict the score. Go down and predict the score. We'll give our score predictions on either Thursday or Friday, but I don't think it's going to be that dissimilar of a game than Michigan-Washington was back on January 8th. Throw up your J8s in the comment, and I think Michigan's going to approach that game the same way they did Washington. This Texas team reminds me so much of that Washington team, and I don't hope he's not hurt for any games, but Quinn Ewers kind of walking out of the field like that because he keeps getting hit in the ribs by Michigan's pass rush. Everyone's saying Michigan's quarterback room stinks. How about NBC Sports, right? They just make bad decisions. They hire Nicole Auerbach. She is talentless. And then it was like Davis Warren getting the start for Michigan. He took a snap. They had a whole play. And then it's like, let's take a look at the starting lineup. And sure enough, Alex Orji is listed as the quarterback. So NBC kind of stinks, but the people are saying that Michigan's quarterback stinks. And upon second look, this debut for Davis Warren wasn't all that dissimilar to the guys you see there on screen. Right? Cade McNamara in 2021, Wilton Spate in 2016, Jake Rudock back in 2015. He completed 60% of his passes. Right, his only interception, and you don't want many interceptions, but the interception he threw was almost like a punt. Right, he threw it deep, underthrew a wide receiver by about 3-4 yards into what was kind of singlish, doublish coverage. There's a third guy there, so I was like, why is he throwing into triple coverage? But I watched this. It's out there on YouTube right now. If you guys want to look, Davis Warren every throw. If you look at all 25 of those throws, I'm not that freaking out yet that this is not a John O'Corn situation. This isn't a Nick Sheridan situation or anything like that. Guys who just absolutely no business being on the field at Michigan's quarterback. I think Davis Warren, remember, he has not played in 5 years. He hasn't started a game in 5 years. And yeah, I try to do things after 5 years. I go out and try and do something, Jack, after 5 years that you used to be really good at, haven't done in a while, swing a tennis racket. Like, oh my gosh, my elbow hurts, et cetera, et cetera. That's why I've actually got this thing on my elbow. Too much tennis elbow lately. But I think Michigan needs better quarterback play to win this game. He hasn't started a game in 5 years, and it clearly showed. He was rusty. He wasn't totally accurate on everything. He kind of looked a little bit tentative in the pocket from time to time and wasn't on the same page as receivers. Tyler Morris going deep down the right sideline seemed to give up on a play, not even thinking that Michigan was going to throw the ball deep to the wide receivers. And people criticize him for that. These receivers didn't help Davis Warren at all. They didn't get any part of the game plan, and that's got to change, right? Michigan cannot go out of a game where they've got receivers getting 1 or 2 catches, maybe even 1 or 2 targets at most. But there's a lot of people out there worried. I am not necessarily one of them yet. The quarterback needs to be better. We are going to find out on Saturday what we're dealing with here with Davis Warren. How worried are you guys about this quarterback play from this Wolverines team? Go 1 through 10, 1 being totally or not worried at all, 10 being super worried. Let me know down in the comments. I am a 6.4 on the worry scale. I think it has a chance to go down to 2 or 3, depending on what happens against Texas. It could go up to a 10-point infinity if he struggles and has one of these games that all the haters of Michigan football are predicting, like 11 of 35 passing and 3 interceptions. That will not happen, but I'm not even sure if Michigan's going to allow him to throw the ball that many times, but I think he can get the job done against the Longhorns. How about these substitution patterns, right? The one thing I took away, that there were way too many odd substitution patterns going on. There was a sequence, I think it was in the second quarter. I have to look at my notes, but I'm pretty sure it was the second quarter on the was in the field goal drive, and then there was another one where they actually scored the touchdown in the fourth quarter where Will Johnson was out of the game, where Jair Hill was out of the game, where they had Jaden McBurrows and Micah Pollard and other guys. I keep saying Keon Sabb, Jack. I keep saying Keon Sabb. He transferred to Alabama. The starting nickel for Michigan. His name keeps escaping. What's that? Zeke Berry. I mean, they kind of seem like the same guy to me. But Zeke Berry, Michigan starting nickel, he was out of the game. McBurrow was in. McBurrows got completely smoked. Didn't even really try to make a tackle. Like the guy caught the ball kind of over in the hash and just cut back inside and went right into the end zone. Very odd substitution patterns. I'm hoping Sherrone Moore felt he had the game, in wraps, and that's why he was doing this. But that play I just talked about there, that cut to a 6-point game halfway through the fourth quarter. And if something goes bad where the first-time starting quarterback hasn't been on the football field as a starter in 5 years, if something had gone bad on that touchdown drive to Colson Love, then Michigan could have been looking at one of these losses that we'll talk about for decades and decades beyond. So I did think it was very odd. Also, I thought the quarterback and wide receiver rotations in and out were kind of odd. You had Kendrick Bell in there randomly. You had Peyton O'Leary in there. And I think you've got to get a vibe of your starting 2 or 3 wide receivers. Speaking of that, Frederick Moore only had 4 or 5 snaps, so we must have been getting bad intel or something on Frederick Moore because he did not make an impact and was not in the starting lineup. Was really the only starter I think that we missed on our all-22 starting lineup that we put out at the end of last week. Make sure you guys are commenting. Horns down. We're probably going to have 2 videos for you on Wednesday, hopefully 2 on Thursday, and of course on Friday. And I will be heading up to Ann Arbor Friday night. We'll be in attendance for this game on Saturday. Get your tickets through Game Time. The link in the comments are down in the description of today's video. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Go Blue.